Welcome to the Vision Pro. What you're looking at here is the home screen that you see the moment you finish all the setup and you end up at kind of the standard launch point for anything you do with the headset. As you can see, we have pass-through. I'm in my home office slash studio right now, looking at my broadcast wall. We're getting video pass-through, and we're seeing a nice crisp home screen with lots of app icons. Now, you might be wondering why a bunch of these little icons are jumping up and down, and that's because I'm looking around with my eyes, and that's the eye tracking. Right off the bat, I think we see an opportunity for the operating system to add, the same way that videos show you where your cursor is when you record a screen share. I should have some way to show you where I'm looking so that things don't randomly pop up and fall down and activate and deactivate. But that's what you're seeing here is I'm looking around, and every time I look at an app icon, that app icon jumps forward a little bit. Right off the bat, you're going to see that there's not a whole lot that seems to ship with the headset, with the Vision OS that's going to be usable. We're going to poke around a little bit. Together, we're going to get a little introduction to what ships on this device, but there's not a whole lot here. Let's look through the apps and see what we've got in the inventory. Apple TV in the upper left, that's obviously a play by Apple to try to get more customers into their streaming service. Let me get this out of here. So I pulled this up when I first got the headset set up, and I was playing around with what can I record in the headset. I tried to record a little bit of video here. I wasn't really thinking about what I was doing. I just thought it'd be nice to capture some video. And I realized the moment I started playing the video, everything went black. I'm assuming that's DRM, digital rights management, kicking in to prevent me from essentially pirating video. I'm hoping that only applies in this app and not everywhere on Vision OS. But for that reason, I can't even play any of the pre-canned videos for you because it all goes to black. Though you can get a little sense right here as to what a video might look like just with these little clips. If I look down at the bottom of the window, I can grab this white pill shape and I can drag it around left, right, up, down, but I can also push it back. You'll see that it's almost going behind the wall now. That's why you can't really see it. I can bring it forward again, right up into my face. Now, I don't know if this looks a lot different to you, but to me, it feels like a screen just got placed truly right in front of my face. My eyes are focusing I'm very nearsighted at the moment. I'm focusing very near to my face, and truly my eyes change focus as it moves back. And that's, one of the kind of human impacts of this 3D stereoscopic technology is that you really are focusing at different distances. That's Apple TV. Coming back to the home screen, we have Apple Music, which I don't have a subscription for. So this will be a trend here. I have no subscription for Apple TV. I have no subscription for Apple Music. Mindfulness, we can pop in here and see what this is like. Sure, we'll start for 5 minutes. Maybe we'll last 10 to 15 seconds.
Hi, this is Jessica, and I'll be guiding you through this meditation on calm.
It's a neat visual effect.
Relax as much as you can. Find a comfortable position where you feel at ease and connect with any feelings of stillness.
Notice that all the little things in this sphere have the same glass aesthetic as the rest of the operating system. It has the glass, the glass bevels or bezels or whatever you want to call it around the edges of all those little pieces. Okay, you get the idea. Settings, what you're going to find here is your typical either iPhone or iPad settings style window. Nothing crazy there. Freeform, I was playing a little bit with this. It is, so let me pinch out here so you can see what I'm actually pinching. By default, I pinch, things drag around, but let me look down here in the toolbar and let's create a drawing. So I'll grab a crayon. Now I'll look somewhere in, that's interesting, is that that dot seems to be following my finger and not my eyes. That's interesting. But if I tap, now we're drawing. I could see this being actually a fairly effective way for people who aren't necessarily who don't have access to something like a Wacom tablet or an Apple Pencil for the iPad, or maybe doesn't even know how to effectively use those. I could see this being a really interesting way to create some decent art concepts, poster concepts, design concepts that maybe you refine elsewhere. But of the use of the hands to do this, I have fairly good control, at least if I hold my hand out in front of me. So I'd say that's pretty neat. Safari. Here's YouTube in Safari. As has been reported elsewhere, this is the only way you're going to be able to use YouTube right now, because YouTube hasn't extended their application to the Vision Pro. Neither have a lot of other applications. But Safari is what you expect. Toolbar up at the top, you can put in the URL. Typing without an actual keyboard is a pain on this device. Photos, I don't have anything in there right now. Notes, I was playing around with this, mostly just auto-completing things. So if I look at the note and I tap into it, I'm trying to see how... I'm looking at different areas of the text, and I'm trying to see if it places the caret correctly. At the moment, if whatever word I look at, the caret appears at the end of the word. I can't get the caret in the middle of the word. I think this is actually a mobile, kind of a mobile way of interacting. Mobile in general does some weird things with caret positioning because you're dealing with your fat fingers everywhere. So perhaps because I think a lot of Vision OS is based on iPad OS, this might be a holdover from that interaction system. So now, as you can see, we have this virtual keyboard here. To type anything, I have to look at the letters. I can't even look at what I'm typing right now because I'm looking at the keyboard for the next letter every time. And now we have Hello World up there. Obviously, notes are not going to be particularly useful this way. Either you're going to have to go the dictation route. I don't typically use dictation. And if you're not going to use dictation, then you probably need to break out a Bluetooth keyboard. We have the App Store. We'll look more at that in a moment. We have Mail. I use Gmail. We have Messages. I probably won't ever use Messages on the headset. We'll see. We have Keynote. That I might dig into later as we investigate deeper use cases. I could see Keynote actually being a legitimate use case for this headset. Compatible apps, we'll come back to that in a moment. If I look anywhere on the home screen and I tap and I drag, you'll see that I can move the icons. This is shifting between pages of icons. So just noticing some UI details here. Each of the icons move at different speeds based on what row that they're in. And any icon that gets far enough to the left, it moves back along the Z-axis and blurs out, even when I'm over scrolling. See, if I come this way, this is over scroll. Same effect though. Any icon gets far enough, it falls back down the Z-axis and fades out. We have files, tips, encounter dinosaurs. This is another big promo thing. Let's see what's going on with the encounter dinosaurs. Okay, so we have some permissions there to access what I'm doing. That's an ominous warning. This could be the beginning of a horror app. Yes, let's encounter some dinosaurs. I'm too close to an obstacle. So what? It is what it is. Come here, butterfly. Come here. Come to my hand. That's pretty sweet. Butterfly has literally landed on my hand. And I think maybe I'm just too close to get any more of this experience. I'm moving back. The spatial audio is pretty good here. And in the headset, the image of the landscape is actually quite crisp. One of the kind of jarring things actually is how much crisper the generated pixels are as compared to the video pass-through. Let's see, is the head going to come through the portal here? Nice. That's pretty incredible. That's pretty cool. Now the question is, how do we get out of here? I guess, do I need to... Let's see. I guess we'll exit that way. I don't know if there is a more appropriate way to get out of there or not. I'm going to recenter the home screen. So that's essentially all that comes on the device. I guess we also look at compatible apps. This is kind of your standard bucket of iPhone apps. So books, calendar, clock, home, maps, stocks, shortcuts, reminders, podcast, news, voice memos. I'll be honest, even on my iPhone, I don't think I use any of these except for maybe the clock. I use Google Calendar, not the Apple Calendar. I don't use the Books app. I don't use the News app. Podcasts, I release some podcasts to Apple Podcasts, but I don't listen through Apple Podcasts. Voice memos could be nice on this device, given that there's so few opportunities to input information with a keyboard. Maps, I'm not entirely sure when you'd be using that. But those are all the apps that come on the device. Now let's see what kind of stuff might be available. So I use Gmail, I use Google Calendar, I use Drive, I use Docs, I use a lot of Google products. So if I come in here, and here we are in the App Store, I'll come over here to this menu, select Search, and let's just say Google. Nothing. Apple Vision apps. So Microsoft has a bunch of stuff in here, somewhat ironically, and Google does not. Okay. Coming back to the top. What if I go over to iPhone and iPad apps? I mean, I'm kind of shocked that there aren't Google offerings at the top of this list. Google absolutely has iPhone and iPad apps. I've got them on my iPhone and iPad. So where are they in here? Let's try something more specific. Gmail. iPhone and iPad apps. So I don't know what kind of game is being played right now. I don't know if Google removed access to these versions of their apps somehow, or if Apple is messing with them. But essentially, all of the common apps that I would use aren't here. I don't have my email client. I don't have my calendar. I don't have my document editor. I don't have my spreadsheet editor. I don't have my cloud storage with Drive. All of that is gone. Now I'm curious. So I don't have Apple TV, but I do use Plex. Let's see if Plex is available. Doesn't seem to be here on ones optimized for vision. Let's see iPad. Okay, Plex is available as an iPad app. I'll download that one later. Prime Video, I do have Prime Video, so I can get that one too. I will investigate more of those viewing experiences in a future video, but it is good to know that I can at least watch some kind of video on this $3,500 virtual reality movie theater headset that I've purchased. I guess we'll search for more apps over time, but I just wanted to make it clear right off the bat that obviously some apps are not available at all. Some apps are only available as iPad apps that are adapted to this environment. And then there will be some number of apps, a growing number of apps that are actually built for this environment. In fact, let's see what we might have here under suggested. So the best apps for the Vision Pro. Let's see what people are paying Apple to sell us. TikTok, no thank you. Disney Plus, no longer a member, I don't think. Max, I don't think I'm a member of that either. So we have an app full of 30-second videos of kids dancing, followed by 2 streaming services. Sky Guide is a neat kind of gimmick app. Jig Space 3D presentations, that could be interesting. Maybe take a look at that. Uh-oh, accidentally tapped on it. Okay, so I guess I remember seeing marketing around this, around exploding models of things. So I guess Jig Space is the one who built those models, and that is pretty cool. I'll probably give that a try at some point. Microsoft Word. So if you have to do word processing, I guess Microsoft is the one. Zoom is here for video calls. DJ App and AI Mixer, that could be interesting. Excel, so that's your spreadsheet option. Puzzle Game, NBA, so sports, live games and scores. MindNode, mind map and brainstorm ideas. Might give that one a try. That could be an interesting productivity angle. Fantastical Calendar, probably better than Google Calendar, but Google Calendar is where I sync all my stuff. Got some weather. Lowe's Style Studio, so you can see what works in your house before you buy it. Juno for YouTube, watch video with spatial magic. No idea what that is. I mean, I'm guessing it brings spatial video to YouTube somehow, but YouTube isn't even available. I don't know. Maybe I'll check that out later. Keynote, again, I'm going to check that out in the future. Spatial soundscapes, that could be nice, kind of like expanding the meditation offerings. WebEx and Mubi, stream great cinema handpicked by our creators. So that is literally the sum total of apps that are being kind of presented to us by Apple as representing taking max use of these headsets. I'll look through some of these over time and report back what I find. But now that we've unboxed it and you watched me set it up, tapping on invisible things, this is some of what I was looking at. You've now seen the home screen. You've seen the pass-through video. Notice one, the pass-through video is a lot more blurry than the rendered pixels. The pass-through video, you've probably also heard, but you can now see for yourself, is very grainy in low light. My office is very often at this level of light or less, so I'm going to have to actually start lighting my office more so I can use this headset. And as I go left to right here, you might notice quite a bit of blur. There is blur going left and right and up and down. So the pass-through video is grainy. The dynamic range I don't think is nearly as good as the rendered pixels. The brights are not as bright, the darks are not as dark, and we have motion blur. Those are some of my initial thoughts of the Apple Vision Pro, and you've seen what comes here on the headset. Moving forward, I'm going to explore at least some of the apps that apply to me. I'll probably have to download some because there aren't really many apps that shipped with the device that are relevant to me. I'll download apps that are relevant. I'll start putting them through their paces. I'm also going to start trying to do some work with this headset on. Again, I'm a software developer by trade, so what I'll do during the day is write a lot of code and review code and things like that. I'm going to try it with the headset on and see how it goes. I'll report back with my findings, and we'll start to identify some opportunities for development. Thanks for joining me. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to keep up with me as we go through this journey together, hit subscribe. And if you have one of these Apple Vision Pros, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.